So there's a space here that is fully alive, fully thriving, effortlessly here, causeless, and open. And it's here right now for me, for you, for every single being on this planet. But within that space, there's an illusion that's taking place. And this is the illusion of a time-based salvation. This trick that the mind plays on us, that one day something better will happen. When we're talking about what life is and the discovery of what one is, their true nature, it's not something that you wait for, because you wait for it, it will never arrive. So one day is the biggest illusion that the mind's ever created, right? How much of your life has been lived in preparation for another moment. The mind literally survives on this promise of a future, on this promise of a better tomorrow. And it's so embedded in our culture that we've got to work to create a better tomorrow. And while that's beautiful, because yeah, it's true, we're far from living in a utopia right now. I think nobody would disagree with me on that level. When we look at what's happening in the world and what's always been happening in the world, this promise of a better tomorrow is a trap, a big trap, and it's peppered into basically every area of our life, and that includes spiritual seeking and investigation into the meaning of life, into what's really here. And so these promises that the mind is constantly creating of this idea of a better tomorrow, it keeps one's attention away from what's actually here and what it's looking for. So the favorite idea of the mind is that one day I'll get there, right? One day I'll be fully healed. One day I'll be confident. One day I will be enlightened. I will have the money that I want. And that just keeps us chasing. And while there's value towards setting goals and putting in work to create a life that you want, there's also something else here that doesn't depend on that. Delph says, I saw it yesterday for the first time. Tomorrow. It's like that movie, Days of Future Past. I haven't seen that movie, but yeah, thanks for sharing. So every version that the mind, every story that the mind, typically anyway, most of the stories that the mind wants to tell is this version that what's here right now is not enough. That the present is not enough and the future is where I will find my completion. And it can get on different ways of seeking. Sometimes it can seek for money, relationships, spirituality, but it's always seeking. And seeking is future oriented. So it's living in this idea of a time-based salvation, basically. And if I had to give a definition to what time-based salvation is, it would be the belief that peace or fulfillment or awakening will happen later. And that is the very thing, that's the very belief that obscures what's already here, that obscures the beauty, the freshness, the depth, the freedom of the life, of the direct experience that you're in right now. So the mind is wanting to sacrifice what's here for another moment. And thus we get trapped into this illusion of words. So it's like the thoughts and the mind create this alternative reality that appears and is playing to be more real, that is believed in to be more real than the actual direct experience that's here right now. So we sacrifice the now for the future. We sacrifice the only thing that's real for an idea about what could be real. We sacrifice reality for a story about reality. Salvation through time. And we see this peppered in throughout all of, most belief systems talk about this. The return of Jesus, even in New Age circles, like this idea of ascension, self-help promises it, spirituality promises it, the ego promises it. They're all just selling different versions of the next. And that's the intoxication. And that's the addiction. Because it is just a story about something that's not actually here. And how can a story satisfy you? A story is just temporary. So it's okay to have a story, but we need to see it for what it is. I'm not denying that thoughts are there. Thoughts are there, for sure they're there. But the story that they tell isn't really how it is. Yeah? It's like a mirage. You see the water. You see something, right? Light interacting with some gases on the ground. I think that's how it appears. When you see the water, in the summer, I remember on the asphalt, the hot asphalt, and seeing like water at the end of my street. But it wasn't actually there. It was just like a play of light. So the closer that you went to it, the further away it went. It just continued moving because it was a trick that was happening through your eyes, I guess. And so that's what's happening with thoughts. It's a trick that's happening with thoughts. They're just playing out a story about a reality that's not actually happening. And that feels more addicting than the very direct experience that you're in right now. And so even awakening becomes another chase, becomes another future-oriented salvation that the mind believes that it needs to sacrifice this moment for. And this is one of the most clever tricks of the spiritual ego, because it will have this idea like, I'm almost there. I've had glimpses. I'm really resonating with this teacher right now. I got this insight. I got this mental insight. But what are you right now without the thinker? What are you right now without the seeker? The seeker is an illusion. It's an expression of a mental construct that the mind creates based on trends that it remembers of the past. And it wants to use this moment to get somewhere else. And it imagines that it is a compilation of memories that's going somewhere else. It's so trippy. But there's nothing more than what is. There's nothing more. Hi, Jeremy. Good to see you. There's nothing more than what is right now. We go on this huge, big spiritual journey in order to find the meaning of life. Hi, Rob. And what we find is the very thing that we've always been in. I had this idea to get a t-shirt made that says, I spent 12 and a half years spiritually seeking and all I got was this stupid present moment. The mind will travel to great lengths, right? I went to India, I went to Thailand, I did my yoga training. I should sell them, hey? Merch. Should make a merch thing on my website. Hats and t-shirts. The present moment is a concept. What are you without language right now? How cool would that be, hey? Just walk around with some hats on as well. Just little reminders, you know. I was talking to someone today earlier and he was like, wouldn't it be cool if like what you do with this pointing actually becomes a real, like a normal job? Like how people go to see a psychologist or whatever. They could come and see a direct pointer. I've still got to work on the name. A perspective dissolver. Drop your ideas for what this future profession could be like in the comments. So what are you without the future right now? Where are you without the future? You could say, well, I'm here. Okay, what does here mean? What does here actually mean? What's it pointing to? Take away the word here. Take away all the words. Life never leaves this immediacy. There's nowhere else to go. It is this immediacy. It's just that thoughts have been trained or conditioned to imagine that they do. And so we're living in those thoughts. We're living in that imagination. And all that does is just create more imagination. So whether it's an imagination about the past, an interpretation about something that's happening right now, it just feeds into more thoughts about the future. And then the body has an emotional reaction of that because there's a belief in that. And then the mind says, how do I protect myself against this fear? But it's just protecting itself against its own mechanism. And it's just thoughts generating thoughts, generating thoughts. And most people live their whole lives without realizing that this dynamic is playing out. So what are you without language? What are you without the concept of time? Where is your identity without time? There's something here, like existence doesn't fall away, even though the mind may have these fears about it. But the past only exists as a memory appearing now. The future only exists as a thought appearing now. But what are you without the past and the future? There's an openness here that can't be categorized or defined or grasped onto. What would you grasp onto? How do you grasp onto openness? Doesn't make sense. But this openness is so open that it even allows for the illusion that there is something to grasp onto. Rob says a tree. Okay, you grasp onto a tree. That doesn't, yeah. I think you're just joking there. So if anyone has any questions, you're welcome to ask. Because the seeker lives in the future. Seeker implies future, future implies seeker. If you take away the future right now, what's there to seek? If you take away the past and the future, like, what's there to look for? What more could there be? Just kind of like blanks the mind out, and there's just a clearness. And the thing is, we imagine that there's these people, that there's these characters inside these bodies somewhere. But you don't think that when you see a tree. Like that there's a tree. We have these concepts like there's like tree spirits, or that we are a spirit. But even that is it's just I'm a spirit, I'm a soul. But what is that? That's just an idea. Can you find your soul right now? Well, soul points to the consciousness. Okay, so can you find your consciousness right now? Well, it's the awareness. Yeah, well, what's the awareness? Well, it's me. Well, what's me? And that's the problem with language, is that it's like inherent in language is duality. And because we use language so much, inherent in there is I think, I feel, I go. And so we just assume that there's an I that's thinking, that's feeling, that's going somewhere. But what are you without the I? Because the I is just a concept as well. And anything that I'm saying, please don't take it on as a belief. Because it's not meant to be a belief. It's a direct recognition. And that's why I try to really pepper in these inquiry questions along with what I say. And so whether the mind is looking for satisfaction in the future, like in the future I will have awakening, enlightenment, a better life, or whether it's getting really tripped up on worrying about the future. That's a big one too. A lot of times it goes hand in hand. Even like I talk to, and this has just been my experience, but like when you have light, when you have hope, you have dark, you have fear as well. And sometimes, and I'm not saying this about like all psychics and intuitives, but I have talked to a number of them, and many of them appear to really kind of still be super caught up in this play of duality, even more so than people that aren't getting messages and streams of consciousness coming through, because there can be this new identity that's formed that I'm a light worker and I'm here to spread the light, and that's my mission. And while that's like so beautiful, it polarizes the mind. That's light, that's dark. And it's okay that we have words for that. It's okay that we can like observe that. But once you start to identify with anything, even if it's light, even if it's being a good person, there's a vulnerability there, because you're just seeing yourself through a concept. You're just seeing yourself through a made-up imaginary world that was only meant to be a useful tool to categorize life, but it wasn't meant to explain what we are, because what we are is this open space that allows for all of that, allows for definitions to take place and allows for light and dark to be experienced from. But then when you say I am a light worker, you identify with something that's happening in the story. And you imagine that there's going to be a freedom or a final thing that happens when you follow that. But you never quite get there, do you? Because now you're in thought land. Now you're in time-based salvation, mission. And it's all innocence. There's nothing wrong about it. But it just creates a story about something that's not actually real. And then we search for truth from that place. But you are the truth right now. Even take away the concept of truth right now. What's here that doesn't need a concept? And yet allows for all of them. What's between light and dark? What's between right and wrong? What's between God and no God? There's a neutral, effortless, fresh immediacy that doesn't know anything, that doesn't contain some special answer for your mind. It's whole already, it's clear already, it's direct already. So what are you without spirituality right now? What are you without your journey? I don't know where these words are coming from. I don't know where this voice is coming from. I don't know where this intention to share this is coming from. I don't know where these people who are booking sessions with me and creating beautiful experiences in these one-on-one calls are coming from. I start getting a little teary even thinking about it because I love it so much. But you've never experienced the next. You've just imagined a play, a timeline. You never leave what is, and it's like, it's in one way of saying it, it can be like a very profound realization, but it can also just be extremely obvious and extremely like banal. Like, how is this even a deep philosophy? It's obvious. It's obvious that you never leave what is, that there's nothing other than what is. Hey, John. And yet at the same time, we can say, okay, yeah, I get that. I get that there's only what is. But I'm still not there yet. But what are you without that belief? Where is the I that's not there yet? all that's happening is that there's a false assumption that there's an I here, and it's like this virus. It's like constantly trying to augment itself, either through receiving validation from others or having a certain number in its bank account. All it can go off of is information, though. It's like grasping at more concepts, more information, compliments. Even it can generate its own thoughts. I am a good person. I am confident. I am beautiful, etc., and big itself up to counter whatever kind of core beliefs it has, its insecurity. But all it has to go off of is just the very matter that it's made of, which is just empty words that are made up. So it's like building out of basically nothing. But without the future right now, what's there to build? And this isn't about becoming passive. This isn't about not making plans, letting go of your practicality, even letting go of your goals, you know? And it's okay if there's periods in time when you don't feel like you have goals. I've been through that. I wonder if we are grasping, if we are always trying to tell others that we are just us. I wonder if we are grasping, if we are always trying to tell others that we are just us. I think I get that. Yeah, what's there to grasp right now without the future? And where's the I that grasps? What's there to hold on to? What's there to let go of even? In this moment, what's there to let go of? So don't postpone your life, your living, your gift that's here right now. Not after a couple lifetimes or after lots of meditation. If you want it, it is right here. Everything just effortlessly appearing, effortlessly alive. But for who? For what? I don't remember choosing this. I don't remember creating this. But in this very moment, if you take away language, is there a beginning? Is there an end? Is there anything missing? And if there's nothing missing, then what's there to look for? What are you without the concept of more? What are you without the concept of the future? Did you feel an intense pressure in your head at the beginning of your clarity? Some people say that they do. Some people, that's common. For me, I had like some energetic stuff going on, and it showed up in other ways. But yeah, that can be normal. Are you a fan of Jim Newman's teaching style? I haven't really listened to Jim Newman. I'm not familiar with him. So are you basically talking about practicing the present moment? I'm talking about, what are you without the practicer? What are you without the one that practices? Please explain more. So practicing is something that we do because we want to get somewhere else. For the most part, that's how spiritual practice is presented, that if you do this, then this will happen. But what I'm talking about is what's here without practice, what's here without any effort right now. Just notice that in your direct experience. And this is what I guide people through in my one-on-one sessions. And you're welcome to come on as well and chat if you want. But the thing is that there's this illusion. So there's this mental construct of an I that's posing as if it's what you are. And it imagines that it needs to do things in order to get somewhere else. But what are you without the I right now? How do I get rid of the I? Well, where is the I right now? In your direct experience. If you take away the past and the future, where is the I? All that the I was just an idea, an identity, an I'm not there yet, an I need to be better. That's what the I is. It's a story. But it's all we know. So where's the one that knows it, though? And you're right, it is all that we know because we've been conditioned and we've been raised by parents in a society that are living from that perspective. So just by osmosis, we orient to that perspective. Like we're all just imagining that there's an I here. And so spiritual awakening is about seeing through that and orienting to this unfiltered, unconditioned, immediacy that's here right now. So the only way that the I is sustained is through belief, basically. Strong thoughts that are believed in. And so rather than going through each belief and trying to cut each one out, just in this very moment, what are you without your beliefs? Go to that direct experience right now. What's here without beliefs? Because any kind of strategy that I give you about how can I get rid of the I will just be something that the mind will try to do to get to a moment that's not here now. Okay. Rich says a human body is here without, what was the question I said? Okay. So what are you without language? If you just take a look around your environment and take away the words. Take away all of the labels and the names, which is the same thing. What are you? Where are you? And we can give it words like awareness or consciousness. But there's a silence here that can't actually be pinned down or pointed at. It's like you could say it's kind of running in the background, but there really is no background and foreground. It's all one. It's only when you think about it, it's a background. And within this, what was the word I used? Silence. Within this silence, a song is being dreamed. A song is being dreamed of an identity, of a timeline, of a journey, of a mission, and that's all very beautiful. And I'm not saying that this is something that everybody needs to discover. I don't push this on anyone. This is only if you want, only if you're interested. Yeah, okay. So what are you without trying to grasp it? Yeah, I understand because the mind's still trying to like get it. Hi, Sam. The mind's still trying to like get it intellectually. But this is like a sobering up. It's not like you go into some new dimension and now you're in an awake dimension and everything's glittery. Not that I'm saying you're saying that, but that's something that I had. So bypass the mind. Exactly. That's what these questions are designed to do. Bypass the mind. So any information that I give you really should just be complementary towards the direct pointing that I'm sharing. And this content is really just to promote the one-on-ones that I do because, you know, it can be a little bit more interesting when you're listening to people talk about this rather than just listening to the one-on-ones. And just to share as well and to answer questions, but the real juice in it is just having someone sit with you and being in this directness. And in that space of clarity, the beliefs will pop up. And it's okay, we just clear them out. Because it's like when a belief comes up or a thought comes up, it's automatically believed in. And then with most people, it's that belief leads to another belief or another thought and another thought and another thought and a feeling and an action and a story. And pretty soon your life's over and you've lived it entirely in story. And maybe you've had glimpses and moments of inspiration and creativity, and that's what we can call a flow state, and that's why everybody loves being in that. That's why people do even extreme things like, you know, rock climbing without a harness, or like skydiving, because it brings them so deeply into that direct clarity, that direct space. But it's always here. We just imagine that it's a place that we have to go into. But what are you without the journey? What's here that doesn't require a journey? There's a freshness. There's a newness. Yeah? There's an openness. There's a potential that's not bound by the past. What's here that doesn't know the past right now? Don't answer conceptually. Just take away knowing. And then you know it. But not in the way that you think you know, that you're used to knowing things. It's non-conceptual. So if there's no imagined future where life finally becomes complete, what's lacking right now? What's getting in the way of the present moment right now? What's blocking the present moment right now? Nothing. There's just thoughts that are appearing that are pointing to a story about something that's not happening, but that's it too. It's just impersonal programs that are posing as a person, but there's nothing behind those thoughts. What's here that's not a thought? If you just don't reference the world of thought right now, what actually are you? Where's the psychological me character? There's a body, like Rich said. There's feelings. There's breath. There's a whole bunch of things. But where's the I? What are you referring to when you say I? Is there an actual I that's separate from its reality? Not two. Not even one. Just not two. So what if what you've been waiting for on your spiritual journey is not something that's waiting for you in the future? This is the cosmic joke, that you've been searching for what's already fully exposed right now, what you're fully expressing as right now. And in that expression, it's morphed into this experience of a seeker that's on a journey, that's imagining itself with an identity that's existing on a timeline. But without language, where's the reality to that? Without a conceptualization about a past, without your memories, where's the truth to that right now? Do you believe in the future self? No. There's nothing to believe in. I just bypass, and suddenly this is a cosmic joke. Oh, you just passed by. This is a cosmic joke. I'm still learning. What if I fear to give up and lose the control? Well, what are you without the next? Because that's really what fear is just a story about the next. And then you feel the fear in the body, and then the mind goes, I gotta keep myself safe from this fear. This is real. This shit is real. More thinking, playing out different scenarios. Okay, well then what if this happens? More fear. So it just like ping pongs off itself until it's actually seen through. So it's not about having no thoughts. It's not about having the right thoughts. Yeah, it's not acceptance. It's not rejection. It's what's in between. It's kind of like seeing through the thoughts for what they are. And that cuts the belief. because they're just a story about something that's not real, just like Santa Claus, just like the Tooth Fairy. It was your parents, guys. Do you think emotional trauma can make it harder to stabilize clarity? Sometimes, yeah. Yeah, like, and if people do have like intense trauma or mental health issues, like, please address that. Like, this isn't, I'm not somebody that's like, you know, skilled to do that. Yeah, so that this isn't like a one size fits all thing for everyone that everybody needs to hear. Unless you want to hear it, unless you really want to hear it, yeah, then if there's a resonance with it, I'm happy to share. But, you know, I definitely suggest if I'm working with someone that has a lot of trauma, I definitely say, you know, we can still do the sessions, but this isn't, like, please get help. Please see it, like, get some help in whatever way that resonates with you as well. It's light. Maybe I'll close that blind. Okay, lots of questions. Do you ever hear of Alan Watts? Yeah, I love Alan Watts. It's all now. The Easter Bunny is real though, right? Yes, the Easter Bunny is real, especially in New Zealand. Are you Irish? No, I'm Canadian. My grandpa was Irish though. I fear the actions that the body will do with no self in control. Well, where's the self that's in control right now? Because the only thing that you're describing right now, and I understand, and that's a common fear that many people have, but this idea that no self means you're just going to spin out and have no control, that's just a belief. That's just a story about a future that's not happening right now. Because what I'm talking about is what's always been here. I'm not talking about something that changes or that becomes more real later. I'm talking about what's here now. So right now, what's there to be afraid of? Take away the next. Taking away the next has a way of dispelling the fear. The fear was coming from not being here. The fear was coming from being in a story, from believing in a story. But what's here that isn't a story? What's here that doesn't require a story in order to exist right now? I love how you explain it in baby language. My father explained the same concept in complicated ways. Did you ever hear of Krishnamurti? Yeah, I used to read Krishnamurti. After the introspective work and inner reflections come the silence. How do you deal with that? Well, deal with what? Deal with the silence? How do you deal with the silence? Well, there's no you dealing with the silence. There's just silence. There's just what is. So how do you deal with what is? Well, the body just naturally deals with what is. Okay, it's time to wake up now. The body wakes up. It's time to sleep now. Guess what the body does? Yeah, it's time to eat. It's time to find a mate. It's time to give birth. It's time to move. It's time to take some space. Like, a bird doesn't need to learn how to be a bird, right? But we imagine that a human being needs to learn how to be a human being, and it's called the public education system, which is typically our first entry level into institutionalized societal brainwashing. And it's not just that, it's our parents were raised with that too, and their parents, and on and on. So the body, everything, that you already know how to be a human. Like a tree doesn't need to learn how to be a tree. And yeah, I mean, we can develop skills, and we can, I mean, there's a lot more complexity in the human experience than with a tree or with an animal. So we can still learn things that interests us. But even that impulse to, oh, I want to learn something. Like for me, I really want to learn the handpan. I will do it. I even looked into getting some lessons the other day. So check back with me if I haven't learned it yet in the future. And I want you to hold me to it, because I really do want to learn it. So you can still reference the future. Like you can still have this idea of a future. But you don't need to be living in it constantly. It just becomes a tool. So you're already dealing with what's here. The silence is already taking care of it.